Hey everyone, I am your astrologer Brittany with Horoscope.com. Here are 3 things you need to know in order to make today, Wednesday, March 13th, 2019, a success. Now the first thing I want to talk about is going to be right here where the moon is in Gemini. When the moon's in Gemini, it brings our attention to thinking, talking, communicating, either outwardly with others or inside with ourselves. Also, what Gemini brings our attention to is siblings as well, our neighbors, and working with people kind of in our communities around town. Now, what we've got going on, the first alignment of the day is going to be right around lunchtime. Right around lunchtime, what's going to happen is that this moon in Gemini is then going to make a trine over here with Venus and Aquarius. And I think what this can bring is lots of communicating here with relationships, with Venus involved, or about relationships, and a lot of communicating or thinking as well about money, also with Venus. I think we're thinking about where our relationships and our money are going. What does the future look like with these things, with Venus being in Aquarius? Maybe we're also thinking about what do we want with these? What do we envision? What do we hope for? As well, that is starting to come into the focus here. Also just trying to perhaps consider a bunch of different options. Now what goes on a few hours after that now as we move towards dinner time is that this moon in Gemini is then going to make a square over here with Neptune in Pisces. So perhaps we have a lot of conversations around lunchtime with relationships, about money, about what we want and see with those things. And perhaps as we move towards dinner time, we need some time alone to ourselves a lot of times with Neptune in order to process what came up and what we talked about. And to not just process it logically, which I think we've been doing for most of the day, but to weigh it out spiritually, to weigh it out emotionally, to weigh it out intuitively. How do we feel about the things that came up? Do we like them? Do we not? Do they make us feel good? Intuitively, what do we think? Could also be a time as well as we move throughout the day with the square to Neptune to adjust our emotional responses to some of the things that came up, work our emotions out as well, and to overcome some things from the past and deal with some things from the past so that we can move forward into this future, different future that we're starting to see, discuss, and talk about. Okay, so that's what we have happening there, and that is the last alignment the moon is going to make today. So at one point I want to leave with you about this is definitely going to be communication is key about things, about relationships and money, but make sure that to take some time alone to yourself, perhaps at the end of the day, to get in touch emotionally, spiritually, and intuitively with what it is that you really feel and want. It's not just about doing things to do things, but it's about doing things that you can feel okay with and about bringing yourself emotionally on board with the things you're discussing and thinking about, okay? Now, the second thing I want to talk about today, perhaps I'll go here again, to Mercury coming into a conjunction with the Sun while it's retrograde and in a square with Jupiter. As you're communicating about things or thinking about relationships and money, there could be some confusion around some of these issues, especially with Mercury retrograde here in Pisces. Matter of fact, maybe not today, but there could be some confusion perhaps from the past few days and weeks in regards to relationships and money and things that are coming up. And I think as Mercury gets closer to coming into a conjunction with the Sun, there is a possibility to clear up some of the confusion and to get more of the insights that maybe you were missing earlier that it is that you need. So I do want to encourage you here to communicate here and to push through the confusion, because I think if you're not afraid to talk about things, even if they are confusing, that you're going to be surprised, if not today, then in the next coming days, at the insights that can come, the understanding that can come, especially with the square to Jupiter and the new lease on life, the new perspective that you may have and that other people may also have or adopt as a result of the confusion, pushing through the confusion that comes now, okay? So I think that's going to be important. Don't stop if things are confusing. You're so close to getting breakthroughs and understandings, especially, again, if you're sensitive, compassionate, and listen to what your spirit and soul is saying. Now, the third and last thing that I want to talk about, maybe I'll go here. Number 3, Saturn coming closer and closer into conjunction with both Pluto and the South Node. what this can definitely bring, really most of this year, since this is a slower moving alignment that works more slowly in the background in our periphery, here is a big change in our life, the direction where our life is going. I think we're realizing with this alignment that things that used to be important to us are not important to us anymore, that other things are important. And I think with this alignment, we're trying to break habits and we're trying to let go of big structures in our life that it is that we've created. Perhaps that's what part of the confusing conversations and thoughts that we're having are about. But I think really needing to allow yourself to transform, to put your life in a different direction, and to let big things in your life, take on a very different form than they have previously. And I think if you cannot be afraid to tear down some big things in your life, or to let some big things in your life go by the wayside, and to communicate about these things, you're going to find by the end of it all, maybe even by the end of this year, I might give it a few more months, that you're going to start to create a situation for yourself that you feel more emotionally comfortable in, that gives you more meaning and more satisfied with. So don't be afraid to torch some things in your life here that aren't working, and to talk to other people about it, and to see different futures with people, so that ultimately in the next few months you can get what it is that you want and need to feel more comfortable in your own skin. So that is your daily planetary forecast for today. Thank you so much for watching. I'll talk to you tomorrow.